Unsurprisingly, work-related stress in 2019 and 2020 was higher than the previous recorded period, and public sector comes out higher than the other sectors. So education, social care, healthcare, finance, public administration, defence, this all has a much higher level of stress than other sectors. Now, stress can be brought on from the external world, and we don't always have the opportunity to be able to influence or change that. But we can do something about our own stress levels. My name's Jules Wyman. I'm a personal and professional coach, and for the last 15 years, I've been working with people within the public sector and specifically within healthcare, finance, informatics, procurement, operational side, and clinical side. And something that I notice that it comes up, doesn't matter what band, what department, or even where in the country people are, is the conversation around stress and how to manage stress. And it's a big topic. But in this short video, what I'd like to share with you are 3 ways that you can make a difference to your own stress levels and help them getting into a far more manageable state. And we're going to be looking at 3 specific areas: mind, body, and heart. So when I'm talking about the mind, what I'm thinking about is the thinking mind and how it can be like that noise, those voices in your head, or some people refer to it as traffic, or like that annoying background music that you don't really listen to, but it's there and you know it's there. And sometimes it's like the volume goes up, sometimes it turns down. And depending on what research you look at, between 90 and 98% of that thinking is just happening automatically. It's what we thought yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before, and probably been thinking for years. But it's just there and it's hovering and it's impacting us. Unless we stop and bring awareness to actually, what am I thinking right now? And it's a great starting point of getting some clarity for yourself as to what is going on for yourself. What am I thinking right now? And is it helpful or unhelpful? It's important for us to start to recognize that very often our thinking is self-judgmental, it's self-critical, it can be rude, it can be unhelpful. So we need to take that moment to pause and start to really listen to what is going on for ourselves in order for us to be able to make a shift. Because without realizing it, many of us are kind of fighting against that. We're trying to ignore that it's there and want to feel good, but we're not going to feel good until we turn around and go, hang on a second, and really listen to that piece of music. So it's not about negating that it's there, but it is about redirecting your thinking. So once you've answered that question of what am I thinking right now, and is it helpful or unhelpful? If it's helpful, carry on doing it. But if it's unhelpful, what could you think that would be helpful or resourceful to you or the situation right now? What could you think that would be helpful or resourceful to you right now? Unfortunately, we've been conditioned, the thinking mind is conditioned to look for the potential hazards, the dangers, the pitfalls, the insecurities that goes on, and it spends its time kind of protecting against that. So our job to help reduce our stress levels is actually help redirect it in a helpful way. And 2 practices that you could start doing every day, and I'm not saying that you have to do both, so just choose one of them, is first one is to write an achievements list. Now, very often we have a list of things that we want to get done every day, and some people have a very big list. But at the end of the day, most people's attention is going on what they haven't got done, what they didn't get done, what they haven't completed, rather than looking at what they did. Because very often we end up doing things that aren't even on our list, or we get disrupted to not being able to complete our list because somebody else needed our attention or something else urgently needed our attention. So when you can pause at the end of the day, take maybe 5 minutes and think about and write down what it is that you've achieved that day, then that's going to help to show the thinking mind the evidence of what you do actually get done every day. And something that can always, a side benefit of that really, is that if you're then applying for a job, or if you are looking to ask for promotion or want to go on secondment or for a particular project, you've already got evidence banked, you've already collated it of different things that you've achieved at different points, that you've got that to hand. You don't have to kind of like scrabble around in the memory banks to try and find something that's relevant. You've already got it collated. And the second exercise is fairly similar, but it is different, and that is to write for your own well-being. Now, writing is being shown to have a great sense of helping us get perspective on our lives, get that distance. And part of that is to do with the physiology of actually writing. But it's also about that then when we've written something down, it's actually the first time that we've seen it. So it can literally help us get that perspective and a different perspective because it's the first time that the thinking mind will have seen it. So when you take the time to write, you could literally just free write whatever comes to your mind. You could look at finishing sentences such as, what I've loved doing today is, you could answer deep philosophical questions such as, who am I, if you wanted to. It doesn't matter really. It's the act of starting to write and making a commitment to doing that writing process every day. So redirect your thinking, create your achievements list, and write for your own well-being. Now, one of the benefits of writing for your well-being is that it has a physiological impact because of the action of writing. And body is the second thing that I want us to look at. With people commuting less and walking around office buildings less, then what's going on is more people are leading that sedentary life, and they're not necessarily in the most ergonomic spaces, and that's having an impact on their bodies. So we need to be very mindful of the stress that the body can hold on to that we may or may not be aware of. So the obvious thing to suggest where your body is concerned is exercise. But actually, I'm going to talk about it from the movement perspective and just getting your body moving, because I think so many people have got not helpful connotations when it comes to the word exercise. But most people like to move their body in some way, shape or form, whether that is walking, running, dancing, cycling, or something else. But when we get into the habit of making sure that we move our body every day for somewhere between 5 and 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be a full-on lycra kit that you need to put on, but when you can start to move your body in a way that it gives it the opportunity to release some of that tension, that's going to lessen the cortisol within your body and help calm your body down, which is going to have an impact on your thinking mind. And then sleep. Obviously. Now, interestingly enough, I find that this is a repetitive conversation that I have with clients as well about people who struggle to get to sleep. So some of the techniques that I find really help for people are habit, getting into a routine, and that routine being something along the lines of no screen time for at least 30 minutes before you go to bed. Making sure that you are doing something that is calming for at least 30 minutes before you go to bed. You can use a notebook. Some people have quite a lot of information churning around. So if you grab a notebook and write down everything that's on your mind, then it's there on a piece of paper and you can remind yourself that you don't need to hold on to it up here because it's secured on that piece of paper, and you can have that by your bed and actually write out anything else if you wake up during the night. And another exercise that a lot of people use, and I used to use when I had trouble sleeping years ago, is something I refer to as tense relax. And that's where you start at your toes and you tense your toes up and you hold that, you tense them up as much as you can for 10 seconds and tense and tense and tense, and then relax them out. And then you do from your knees down, and then you do from your hips down, and then you do from your shoulders down, then you include your arms, and then you include your head. Now, the caveat with this, obviously, is if you are sharing a bed with somebody and they don't know you're doing this, you may want to warn them, because when it gets to the whole body and you're pulling faces like that, they may want to know that you're okay. Now, what we're doing is showing our body the difference between tense and relaxed. Now, it sounds really obvious that the body would know the difference between the two, but in actual fact, we've been so conditioned into sitting in a tense way without even realizing it, our shoulders kind of like hugging our ears, that this has become the norm. So the body doesn't really know the difference between this and this without us really emphasizing it. So taking the time to go through that throughout your whole body can give you the opportunity, or rather give your body the opportunity of reminding it of the difference between the two. And something else that you can do to help with that is stretch. Now, yeah, yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, Qigong, all of those things are fantastic. And if that's not your bag, then just simply stretching, just like an animal would. You know, when they wake up, they do these amazing stretches and these huge big yawns, and we don't often do that enough for ourselves. So throughout the day is take a couple of seconds to just stretch your body out, and what you're looking to do really is stretch your spine out. You could do them seated, you can do them stood. The spine contains, or is the way that the brain communicates with the rest of the body. So the more you can keep that free and flexible, the more that's going to help with the communication to the rest of your body. So make sure that you take some time every day to stretch, to sleep. Hopefully that's going to be a good deal of time, and do everything you can to get to that point of getting that good sleep, but also move your body in a way that your body likes to move. So the final part of this stress releasing video is for you to think about heart. Now, what I mean by that is the things that you love. Very often we get caught up in these routines, and these routines are great for getting that functionality of things done, and we get from A to B every single day. But sometimes that means that we can end up shoving out the things that we enjoy doing because this other stuff ends up taking priority, and we don't get the time to do the things that we really love. Again, there's lots of research that shows that just taking 5 minutes to do something that you really enjoy every day can make a big difference to your well-being. Reading, writing, listening to or playing music, cooking, spending time with your children, spending time with your pets, gardening. The list is absolutely endless, and I would encourage you to have a list, especially if you're somebody that knows that they get caught up in this work routine, and maybe there's a bit of home stuff that needs to be done within there. But the more that you can remind yourself, hang on a second, I really love going for a bike ride and I haven't done that for a long time, then that's going to give you the opportunity to just remind yourself and go, you know, I'm just going to do that for 5 minutes. Or it may be a case of putting the book that you really want to read somewhere that you're going to see it every day, and just pick it up for 5 minutes and read for 5 minutes. You know, that's a good couple of pages that you could get done. Yes, maybe you want to read the whole chapter, but if you just give yourself the opportunity to do those 5 minutes, it's going to give you the motivation to find the more space to do more of the things that you love. And a lot of times people will say, yeah, but 5 minutes isn't enough to do the thing that I love, and I'll just want to end up doing more. And that's why we can end up pushing things to one side. But in actual fact, what's really fantastic is that 5 minutes can lead to a little bit more time, but equally that 5 minutes is 5 minutes more than you did yesterday. And those incremental 5 minutes add up over time, and they are going to make a difference. They may not feel it immediately, but after a while, they will make a difference to you, because you'll start to feel lighter as you're doing more of the things that you enjoy. And another way that you can relieve stress at your desk is actually imagine that you have 3 lungs. So imagine that your heart is actually your 3rd lung, and that's the lung that you want all of your breath to go into. And just for 3 simple deep breaths, breathe in to that heart lung, and then breathe out, and breathe in, and breathe out, and breathe in, and breathe out. Now, I may be going too fast or too slow, so do it at your own count. And I would see if you can extend it out for yourself. But when you shift and give yourself the opportunity to focus in on your heart, again, the research shows that just that calming focus on your heart can help relax the body down even more, and therefore taking yet another step away from stress. And the final thing to suggest looking at in relation to helping your heart is gratitude. Gratitude is wine for the soul. Go on, get drunk. It's one of my favourite Rumi quotes, and it's a great reminder of the implications and the health benefits of gratitude. Now, this is something else that you could write if you wanted to, and writing anything from 3 upwards of things that you're grateful for every day. Again, more research that has shown the benefits that this can have on your well-being. But also it can be a great way of having dinner. So if you've got family, friends that you sit and have dinner with, then you can each go around the table and share something that you're grateful for. It can also be a great way of starting a team meeting, bringing a different energy of what's something that you're grateful for today. So if you know that you are someone who experiences high levels of stress, remembering that we don't have influence and control on the external world, but we can have influence and some control over the internal world. So go back through the video if you need to and choose just one thing. Don't add to the stress levels thinking that you've got to do all of them. But choose one thing that you're going to commit to for the next month and add that into your life. And the easiest and most effective way of being able to do that is find something that you already do as a habit. Brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, putting the kettle on, eating at a certain time, going for a walk at a certain time, whatever it may be. If you've already got habits in place that you know that you do, is attach the new one to that. That then helps kind of secure it in and anchor it in and make it easier. Once you've done that for around about a month, then take some time to go back and watch the video again and maybe choose something else. And it'll be worth you noting what happens for your stress levels when you just add in this one routine to help reduce it down for you. There is no quick fix to stress and no one can make it better for us, but we can do it for ourselves by first of all becoming aware of that we are in that situation and that we need to do something about it, by taking some time to breathe and give ourselves the perspective we need from the situation, and then looking at what changes we can make to make a difference for ourselves. So become aware, breathe, and then make the change. And all of those will give you the opportunity to reduce your stress and have even more moments of lift in your life.